The Honor Play is one smartphone that provides really good value for money, albeit with a good but not great camera setup. Now with the Poco F1 in the picture, there's a chance that it could overthrow the former in terms of camera at a similar price point. This is Sandeep from RevAtlas. Let's compare the two. On paper, the Sony IMX363 packing Poco F1 seems to be a better bet. Its primary sensor has 12 megapixels of resolution, f1.9 aperture, 1.4 micron pixel size and 1x2.55 inch sensor size. It also has a 5 megapixel f2 depth sensor with 1.12 micron pixel size. The Play on the other hand has 16 megapixel f2 sensor and a secondary 2 megapixel depth sensor with f2.4 aperture. Colors are well rendered and white balance is handled properly on the Play, while the Poco has a tendency to produce images with a yellowish color cast. Photos on the Poco F1 also exhibit better detailing as well as lower noise levels. Dynamic range is better on the F1 by default as there's quite a lot of information being retained in the shadows as compared to the Play. The highlights are rendered equally well on both, but if you use the HDR mode then the Play comes close and does better but still behind the results that the F1 is capable of achieving. Coming to a low light performance, the F1 has a clear lead here, giving much better results both in terms of sharpness as well as noise control and a steady frame. The Poco F1 performs even better when the HDR mode is turned on, but you get some really awful results with HDR mode on the Play. Both the phones support AI modes, but there is a huge difference in the way that the AI handles the processing on both. The processing is more aggressive on the Play and has a tendency to oversaturate scenes where there is a lot of greenery around or when it detects a major portion of the image is occupied by the sky. In comparison, the Poco F1 AI is more subtle and adds a bit of clarity, tweaks the dynamic range a bit and also improves the sharpness as it sees fit. One advantage of the Play AI feature is that you can toggle the effect after taking the photo too, but the F1 remains the same as you capture it. In terms of portrait mode, the Honor Play has a tendency, like in other modes, to choose the lowest ISO setting possible, and that's the best rule to follow. But in this case, it causes issues at times where the really low ISO creates the need for a fairly long shutter speed and can cause subject or object blurring if there's movement either on the subject or object in frame or the phone itself. A slightly higher ISO would have given a faster shutter speed with no blurring and still no noise like what you see on the Poco F1. Edge detection isn't as refined on the Play as it is on the Poco F1, and the Play also adds a bit of clarity into a mix that gives the impression that it captures more detail and sharpness, while in reality, those two aspects are about the same on both. The front-facing camera is a 16 megapixel f2 unit on the Play, while the Poco has a 20 megapixel f2 unit with an unusual 0.9 micron pixel size. Images shot on the Honor Play are more natural looking thanks to a better white balance, but they exhibit higher levels of noise compared to the Poco F1 even though it chooses lower ISO levels by default. The F1 shots are also packing more detail and sharpness. The F1 also has an HDR mode that works to its advantage by improving the dynamic range, while the Play has no HDR mode for the front-facing camera. The portrait mode is handled much better on the Poco F1 thanks to a superior blurring algorithm that has better edge detection as well as bokeh. The Play has iffy edge detection that tends to miss out portions and also has a tendency to blur out more portions of your face. Under low light, the images on the Poco F1 are sharper and also have lesser noise compared to the Honor Play, despite the latter choosing lower ISO levels. In terms of video, you can capture up to 4K 30fps without EIS and 1080p with EIS on both the phones. The Play allows 1080p with EIS even in an 18.7:9 aspect ratio mode and also additionally supports a 60fps mode in 1080p, albeit without EIS. Poco F1 currently does not have any option for 60fps 1080p mode. The video shot on the Play have lesser bitrate and as a result the details are quite a bit washed out compared to the Poco F1. The EIS is also more lenient and seems to be more wavy compared to the F1. The Play has slightly better and natural looking colors though, but I'll still go with the F1. On the front facing camera however, the Play has a clear lead since it supports EIS while the F1 doesn't. So this is 1080p video coming from the front facing camera of the Poco F1 at 30fps. There's no EIS on board, so you'll notice some slight shakes and jitteriness, but let me know how you guys find the sharpness, the dynamic range, the overall video quality, and even how well it's picking up my voice in this particular scenario. So this is the front facing camera of the Honor Play capturing 1080p video at 30fps. There's EIS enabled, so you'll notice that the frame is quite a lot stable compared to without EIS enabled from the front facing camera despite the uneven surface. Let me know what you guys think about the sharpness, the dynamic range, the stability, and even how well it's picking up my voice in this environment. The more natural looking colors also come into play here. Apart from the better front-facing camera, video and slightly better color processing, it seems quite difficult to recommend the Play over the Poco since the F1 manages to outdo it in almost every category. If you're looking for a camera phone in and around 20k rupees and you have to choose between the two, I'd definitely pick the Poco. Thanks for watching this video. See you again in the next one.